This is a battle in Age of Charlemagne. Danes versus Avars. Not a good time for the Danes. I am commanding the Avars. And I've brought 4 Avar horse archers. I've brought levy archers, a bunch of those. 4 levy archers. No, actually 4 levy archers, 4 Avar foot archers, Avar guard, and then 4 Avar noble lancers. Obelix is bringing the Danes. This is sort of just to illustrate how hard the Avars counter the Danes. So the Danes up front have spearmen, a total of 4 spearmen. Then they have 4 levy freemen in the back. They have 3 armored archers. They have some sword herdmen, berserkers, a housecarl general, and some big axes in the back here. And we just picked a random map. Unfortunately, I started off at the top of a hill. So the Danes have to walk up to the top of the hill. The Avars have to engage. The Avars engage downhill. So everything the Avars do, firing downhill, charging downhill, is going to be more effective. So that makes it harder for the Danes. We did play this particular scenario multiple times, and it did not matter where the Avars started. So sometimes the Danes would start up here, sometimes the Avars would start down here, but due to the immense mobility advantages of the Avars, even if the Danes start up here and they decide to go, you can't corner camp of course, but you could go for this forest. The Avars can just move around the Danes very, very easily no matter what. So I just want to kill stuff. I have a lot of ammo on my Avar horse archers, so I'm pouring the fire into these lightly armored spearmen with just standard 40% missile block chance. And the spearmen haven't moved into wall yet. Taking a bit of fire here on my Avar horse archers from the armored archers. I'm going to move my Avar foot archers up, and they should put the hurt on the Danes incredibly quickly. Yeah, the kills are rising very, very quickly. So the first line of Danes is already starting to falter here. And now the foot archers just move away. Just melt away in front of the oncoming Dane assault. And I can start moving these units around on the flanks, going for some flanking shots. And here I'm going to sacrifice a unit of Avar noble lancers. Just smash them into the big axes and stop the advance of the Danes frontally. Look at all the kills here. I make a mistake, a very important mistake. I should never have pulled out the Avar noble lancers here. You cannot do this in Age of Charlemagne. This battle was played fairly early after we'd really gotten to test this, and in this particular case I should have just left the lancers in the fight. Pulling them out serves no purpose other than me losing the noble lancers. The big axes don't like getting fired on by arrows, of course, so they are dropping very quickly. But the sacrifice of the noble lancers has allowed my foot archers to fire for much longer. Just firing indiscriminately into the blobs here. And as you can see, the Danes are going hard for this piece of terrain. So even the levy archers are getting a lot of killing done. And here comes the second sacrificial Avar noble lancer, I think. These two armored archers are a juicy target. I changed my mind, going for the general instead, going for the big axes. And hopefully I'm going to leave my Avar noble lancers in this time. Let's see, yeah, I am, and they're getting a lot of kills on the charge, but they don't have that much health anymore, so they are doing a lot of damage to multiple units, but I'm going to be losing this very important unit. Still, this allows me to focus fire on the Dane general. The housecarl general. And he's dropping really quickly. The Avar noble lancers got 128 kills. Not cost effective, but it allows my skirmishers here to just pick the Dane general apart. And he's taking a lot of fire. So the Danes on their way up to the forest, they've just lost so many men. They're losing their general here. Actually, this is the general still alive. So the general isn't dead. Amazingly. Should have given him a few more volleys. I'm focusing on the berserkers here. And now I am firing uphill, which isn't that much of an issue for me. Using the Avar horse masters to charge in against the armored archers. The armored archers not dropping that quickly. Well, now they are. The levy freemen joined the fight. So I'm just pulling out. And I'm losing a lot of men pulling out here. But at this point it really doesn't matter. I have way too much left for the Danes to contend with. The levy archers getting nice kills, firing into the unshielded side of sword herdmen here. And there is really nothing that the Danes can do. If you've found a good way to counter the Avars as the Danes, I'd really like to know about it. We did play some other battles where I was commanding the Danes, and I think the way you counter the Avars is you have to just go... you either have to bring some skirmishers and push hard at all times, or you have to just go all infantry and focus on always supporting units. So once a cav unit engages, then that cav unit is going to have to pull out of multiple units and it's going to lose. However, I still think that played skillfully, the Avars, the Danes cannot touch the Avars. But please prove me wrong, because I would love to be proved wrong there. So all of these units are going to be getting nice kills. Even though I'm sacrificing a lot of them in melee, 215 kills.
Unit has fired all of its ammunition.
Over here as well, the levy freemen getting picked apart. The missile damage of the Avars is just immense. Over 40 missile damage and heavy shot hurts. So sending in the Avar horse archers now that they've run out of ammunition. And they're going to do a lot of damage on the charge to the sword herdmen. Yep.
The enemy are losing their advantage.
Also losing men rapidly. But like I said previously, I have so much left now that I can just send things in, do friendly fire, and it won't be an issue. So the Avar noble lancers kept in reserve, now they are crashing in downhill. Even though they're fighting in the forest, it shouldn't be a problem for them to break the enemy units here. And now I'm not making the mistake of pulling them out. The enemy units are wavering, losing decisively, army losses. And yeah, that's it for the Danes. Probably an example of a faction that hard counters the other faction like no other, because even though the Danes can bring some armored archers, those armored archers are going to get hit by cavalry. And let's see, yeah, all of the skirmish units here. No melee units, all of the cav units that are engaged do a decent job, aside from the one unit, or from the two units that I used as sacrificial units. They got 100 kills, and I had to pull them out. Or I pulled them out, and that was a mistake. But the horse archers do an exceptional job when they aren't really... when you can't really counter them with anything, because it's so easy to screen out these armored archers. And Obelix was at a disadvantage by starting at the bottom of the slope, no question about it. It just made it worse for the Danes. But even on an open map, it's very hard. If the Danes could box up in a forest, things would become more difficult for the Avars. But I still think that the Avars could contend with the Danes. They could surround the Danes, get rear shots, get flanking shots, and I don't think that the skirmish of the Danes is strong enough. And I don't think that there is any unit here that can stop. Like, even though you put a unit of spears in spear wall, Levi Freeman in spear wall and stuff like that, I think still think it would be able to, the Avars would be able to rush in and take care of the archers, or even just take care of the archers at range with their much higher missile damage and heavy shot by focusing on these armored archers. But that remains to be seen for another battle, I think. Strength and honor.